new age man. I'm ageless, but not ageist.
Kia Motors released this ad during the 2013 Australian Open. In the motor vehicle industry, advertising is a must, and of course, each advertisement has a reason behind it. The ad can yield positive results for the brand image, but could sometimes use improvements as well. Companies in this industry manufacture motor vehicles. These vehicles mainly include cars, sport utility vehicles, light commercial vehicles, buses, vans, and special purpose vehicles. Toyota leads the Australian automobile market with over 18% of the market share. Although Kia isn't a top competitor, it has surpassed the 2011 figures shown and now holds 2.8%. Kia Motors Corporation was founded in 1944 and is Korea's oldest manufacturer of motor vehicles. Kia is one of the fastest growing automakers in the world. Over 2.5 million vehicles a year are produced. There are some regulations and advertisements for motor vehicles. According to the Federal Chamber of Automotive Industries, they should not portray any unsafe driving, driving at speeds in excess of speed limits, driving practices or other actions which would breach any law, such as not wearing seatbelts in a moving motor vehicle, or people driving while being apparently fatigued or under the influence of drugs or alcohol. With their green appeal and smart technologies, Kia has a target audience of forward-thinking modern adults. The target audience for this particular campaign are those who watch the Australian Open. Nearly 6.7 million Australians, or 36% of the population aged 14 and up, say they almost always or occasionally watch the Australian Open on television. Kia has been partnering with the Australian Open since 2002, and has recently extended its agreement through 2018. Online, Kia posts for the Australian Open via Facebook and a dedicated mobile app. In addition to their online activity and activities at the event, Kia launched the Man of Now and the Woman of Now campaigns via two 45-second television commercials. Since they risked not getting exposure to those who weren't actually at the event, but rather were watching it on TV, television seemed like the best media choice. The advertising objectives for the campaign were to reach those that weren't at the actual event during the time of the Australian Open, and to show that Kia caters to and is the right fit for the woman and man of today. Kia isn't a very big product in Australia, so by showing that they cater to a large audience, and more specifically those forward thinkers in the target audience, it may persuade them to look at what Kia has to offer when they're considering buying a new car. Branding the buyers of Kia as the woman and man of now positions them as what's in and what's current. While the Australian Open TV broadcast appears to have a broad appeal in terms of gender, looking at the data for the different generation groups reveals that the Australian Open is slightly more popular among older TV viewers. Looking at a breakdown of the TV audience reveals that 44% of Australian Open viewers are baby boomers or pre-boomers. The baby boomer and pre-baby boomer generations were born around 1940 to 1965. With their children having already left the home and some hitting a midlife crisis, these generations are reassessing their lives. Most of these generations are still working to provide for their families, but some are quickly approaching retirement. With the changing times, these generations are trying to find their place in society. Kia realizes the trends in today's society, and a lot of those are shaped by stereotypes. According to the Foot, Cone, and Belting Grid, a car is a high-involvement product. This means that Kia should use facts and demonstrations in their campaign. But instead they've went with a more creative approach, only showing the product at the end of each commercial. The broad campaign idea is their sponsorship for the Australian Open. But for this particular campaign, it's that Kia is the car for the man and woman of now. They chose this approach because the target generation that's watching doesn't want to be considered old. Because a car is a high involvement product, they should have went with a rational appeal, but instead they went with an emotional one. They chose an emotional appeal because it catches the audience's attention. They show what the buyer of a Kia could become. Each commercial has a very upbeat and fast-paced feeling. Each campaign contains a lighthearted monologue that's filled with contradictions, highlighting how multifaceted our lives have become. The man and the woman walk through the busy sidewalk, talking to the camera, and ultimately end up at the car. The tone of the campaign is very cynical and stereotypical, with a little bit of humor and sarcasm, all to entertain and catch the watcher's attention. Kia brands himself as vibrant, distinctive, and reliable, with the overarching slogan of the power to surprise. Kia stays on brand with the Man and Woman of Now campaigns, keeping with their forward-thinking branding. Kia has tapped into the key target audience insights. playing up this fact that they want to be current. The Woman and Man of Now campaigns were only posted on Kia's Facebook one time, as more and more of these pre-boomer and baby boomer generations are becoming active on social media. Maybe playing up with this would help their campaign a little bit. Also, Kia should have included some sort of nod to the Australian Open, since it was shown during that event. This campaign has had a lot of criticism and praise. Some say it was a copycat. Sometimes controversy helps the brand, and their brand is the power to surprise. Overall, the broad campaign of their sponsorship with the Australian Open was successful because there was visibility on TV and at the event. To evaluate the campaign, Kia can look at the amount of viewers that the Australian Open had. Kia can also evaluate by looking if there was an increase in Kia car sales at a certain period of time after the Australian Open.